Head over to miniaturemarket.com where they have thousands of board games at discounted prices like Ticket to Ride London and New York. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Last year, Days of Wonder did something different with their Ticket to Ride series. They came out with Ticket to Ride New York, which was their first sort of small version of the game, which fits in a small box, has a small MSRP, is 2 to 4 players, and plays in like 15 minutes. It's sort of like an abbreviated version of Ticket to Ride. Well, this year at Gen Con, they came out with Ticket to Ride London, which is another version of that game in a small box, similar price, similar size, similar weight, similar time to play the game. And so what I thought I'd do today is do sort of a comparison and a versus video between Ticket to Ride London and Ticket to Ride New York, since they are that sort of similar quick and light versions of Ticket to Ride. I'm not going to show you sort of how to play Ticket to Ride London. I put a link in the description for Ticket to Ride New York that teaches you how to play the game. They're essentially the same. I'm going to show you the differences in this video, and I'll see you on the other side. Now, one of the cool things I like about both of these versions is that the rule books look like those little travel brochures you'd pick up in each of the respective countries. Now, I'm not going to actually show you how to play Ticket to Ride London because it's pretty much the same thing as New York with a little bit of twists. So if you don't know how to play Ticket to Ride or Ticket to Ride London, I've placed a link in the description of this video where you can watch my Ticket to Ride New York review, where I show you how the game works in general. Now here are the different player pieces in the different versions. With New York, you get the different taxis, and with London, you get those cool double-decker buses. And in New York, unlike the normal Ticket to Ride, they're not train cards. Essentially, there's all different things. The Wild is a taxi, which is cool. They've got the school bus, and they do have some sort of trains and subways and things like that. But they definitely look unique and different from the original Ticket to Ride, and the backsides say New York like that. Now for the London cards, they're a little bit more varied. You've got the cool double-decker bus, but you've got a milk truck, some Rocket Man car, fast cars, a yellow submarine. How about that for London? You've got, this old-timey car, that cool thing, and then the London for the back. So I actually like these ones a little bit better because they're a little bit more varied. Now here's the difference in the ticket cards. For New York, it has that cool little City of New York Board of Transportation, sort of like the little taxi fares and such. And they go in a vertical way because that's the way the board is. I'll show you that in just a moment, but tickets look like this. And this one has sort of the Red Rover bus ticket here, and they go in the sort of the wide way to match that board. This one is, for me, about the same for both of them. Now, one of the biggest differences is the orientation of the board. Now, some of the Ticket to Rides do go vertical like this, so you have to place the board like this because it matches just the landscape of that city. Whereas London is the standard sort of horizontal style board. I always like these style boards better. They fit on the tables better, they're easier to see, and I just like these ones better, so I definitely like the board better here. Now let's talk about sort of the scoring and the twists. Each of the Ticket to Rides have a little bit of a different twist to them, and this one has districts. If you look at this, see a blue 3, 3, and 3. If you're able to get your buses to link somehow, these three together, you'll get 3 points. You link all the 4s together, you get 4s. Link all the 5s together, you get 5s. If you put one train here, you'll link those two and just get an additional point. And there's 2s here. So you can concentrate on some of the districts instead of maybe drawing more tickets towards the end, or you can try to keep tickets that surround the district that help you do things like that. Where in New York, every one of these little sort of tourist destinations that has a coin there that you essentially get to with your taxis is going to be an additional point at the end of the game. And I like this one slightly better than the one we just showed you, the twist with London, because this one is really fun to sort of get tickets that try to go through some of those tourist destinations, or try to take sort of a little bit of side tracks to go through those to get to where you want to get to sort of link together. And there's no longest sort of route in this one like the standard Ticket to Ride, but it kind of feels like you're doing that when you do this, and I like that aspect better than the twist in London. And the final difference is in London, you go up the score track and you can see where everybody is points-wise pretty much the whole time. New York does not have a score track. It uses a pad of paper, and you'll be getting points for the taxis that you laid down with normal things, the tickets, and then those tourist destinations. So you never quite know who's in the lead. Now, in standard Ticket to Ride, I've seen players do this where they don't score until the end. I've never liked that because throughout the game I like to know who's winning and where I stand. But with the shorter version, I actually did like having that little bit of intrigue better because the game is so short, 10 or 15 minutes. that I kind of liked not knowing. So I actually liked that better. All right, well, there you see the differences between the two. Let's first start with player pieces. So you've got the taxis with New York, the double-decker buses with London. For me, this is a tie. They're both super cool. I always like it when it's not just the standard trains and they do the thematic things like this. They're both cool, they're both unique, and I like them both about the same. The cards. So I showed you the different sort of cards. Of course, they're not train cards. New York had some trains in there and some cars and taxis and such. And London had the buses and the cars and the yellow submarine. And as I mentioned in the overview, I did like the cards in London slightly better just because they're a little bit more varied, because you have that yellow submarine for London and some of those other things. It just felt a little bit more varied than the New York. So a slight edge there for the cards for London. The board itself, as I mentioned in that overview, I tend to really enjoy that sort of horizontal, wide, standard, the way that the standard Ticket to Ride USA map is, where it's that wide one. It fits on the table so much better on those rectangular tables. It seems like easier for people to get to them. I've always liked those better than the up and down sort of vertical board. So in this case, I like the board better in London. Now the game length. This is going to be a tie because, again, they're both about the same. Even though you get a couple more a couple more player pieces, I believe in New York. One of them is they have two less player pieces, but the length of the game feels about the same. Ticket delving. The ability to grab tickets and hope you're going to get something where you have a route is about the same here, because you start with 2 and you have to select at least 1, and when you go to delve for more tickets, you have to take 2 and keep 1, which makes it hard because it's equally challenging to go after more tickets late in the game. So that's about a tie. Scoring system. The system itself, meaning there's the score that you keep track of as you go with London, and then there's that score pad where you secretly score, or you're not scoring during the game, but you're scoring it at the end of the score pad and seeing what's happening. And as I mentioned in the overview, like I've seen players want to score regular Ticket to Ride that way, where they don't score anything. At the end, they just count up all the trains and they move, and then they count the tickets. And I've never liked that. I've always liked in that longer game to see where I'm at throughout the game and see how things are going. Where in this shorter game, I actually enjoyed not knowing who was where, because the game is so quick. You just go at the end. Oh, it's quick. This. You got 13 points for your player pieces, your taxis or whatever. And so I liked it because it was still quick, and it gave it that level of intrigue as well. I didn't quite know where we were at. So I like the scoring system better in New York. Now the scoring twist. So in London, you have the districts that you score, and in New York, you have the sort of tourist attractions. I like the tourist attractions better. The districts aren't bad. It is a nice twist, and sometimes you find yourself, oh, I got to get this one here, and I could go over here. I could try to turn this part of the district and then make that as part of my route. Maybe I get a card that's over here, and I want to focus on that side of the board and look for tickets over there. Sometimes you're later in the game, you're like, I don't want to pull another ticket, because the ticket delving is tough in these games, because you only pull 2 and draw and keep 1, or at least 1. But you've got the whole, I could just go for districts instead. And so it's a cool twist, but I like the New York better, because even though there's no longest sort of train or taxi line here, I feel like you can parlay where you're going better with that line of tourist attractions. And so for me, it felt more like the original, which is one of the things I loved about the original, which was, hey, you get tickets and you're trying to use pieces that you've already put on there for that. And this is like, oh, I've got a ticket. Ooh, I could go through this tourist attraction and be getting points as I'm going to get my other thing, and I'll pull off here. And it just felt more satisfying to me. So I liked, for the scoring twist, I liked New York. So for me, it's a slight edge for New York in this version, but it's very close. It's very close to a tie. For you should probably be able to tell which one of these you like better. If you're not sure, go with the city that you like better, the one you have a more affinity for. And if you don't, if you like them both about the same, then watching this video, you should know either it's the pieces, or the way the board is, or the way the cards are, the way the scoring twists are. You should know for you. And hopefully I've been to help you, sort that out. This has been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships through board games by helping you find the next one you'll love. Did you miss the Game Topper 2.0 Kickstarter? Have no fear. It's not too late to get in on the ultimate gaming accessory. Convert your table into a high-quality gaming table with a fully portable game topper system and take advantage of some of the best 3mm premium gaming mats in the industry. New styles, new sizes, and new accessories can be yours. Upgrade every game you play by late backing now at GameToppersLLC.com.